Matthew, is this the end of the Preston model?
Absolutely not. We're still going to continue our radical economic policies. We do believe there's too much inequality in Preston. Obviously, we have been caught up in a very difficult national situation. I don't think people are voting against us for doing things like supporting a real living wage, giving free swimming to young and old, and also exempting families who get a terminal illness from paying council tax, or the tens of millions we invested in parks and ending austerity at the City Council. But it's been a very tough day. But in comparison with many other councils, we think we've done reasonably well, but we're still devastated for the 4 councils we lost.
So you no longer have a majority, so how will you govern?
Well, we're by far the largest party still, so we have 22 out of 48. Obviously, we would probably expect the 2 independents to potentially support us as well. And obviously there's the Greens, the Lib Dems, who knows what they're going to do, because I think the Lib Dems may end up on 14 or 15, way behind us. So yeah, we'll continue. And obviously we will listen to the diversity of the views at the City Council. As I said, the National Party, I do think, needs to reflect on the direction they're taking. People voted Labour 2 years ago because they wanted to see change in their lives, and I feel this is a backlash around the lack of change we're seeing in many communities where they thought they'd actually have their lives improved a lot quicker.
Should Keir Starmer resign?
I'm not going to get into that. What I'm saying is I do believe we've got to get back to Labour values about redistribution of wealth, around workers' rights, around taxing the wealthy and making sure that working people have more control over their economic lives.
And you've lost 2 seats in the east of the city to Reform. You've lost 2 seats in the central areas of the city to the Greens. What do you make of that, and how troubling is that for you?
It's a worry, but this is democracy at the end of the day. We've got to accept it. I presume the student areas would have got behind the Green Party, and I presume that's an explanation for that. And then obviously, in the east of the county, they've obviously been attracted to Reform on these occasions. But the irony is that Nigel Farage is a very wealthy, privately educated stockbroker. I'm not seeing many people like that in our community, in those communities. So this idea that Nigel Farage is going to back working class people, it's a big illusion, and people need to wake up to it. Labour needs to, I believe, be more radical and support communities in those areas a lot more. But Labour is the answer.
And what's your message to the 2 Green councillors? Because it sounds like they may well hold the balance of power.
Well, congratulations. Anyone who's been successful deserves congratulations. It's up to them what they do. What I would say is just look at some of our agenda. We're giving cost of living payments to the most vulnerable families, £400. We support public ownership of regeneration. We support cooperatives. We're bringing back council housing. We want a very different economic system here, and we've always wanted to do that, but it does take time. And we've also ended austerity at the City Council. So whereas Reform-led County Council, it's full of potholes, they're not building the schools that are needed, there's all kinds of chaos going on there. We've actually ended austerity. So the investment you see in the city centre here is down to the Labour Council in part.
And do you think the leadership of Preston Labour will still be the same after the next week or so of negotiations?
Well, let's see. We have to see what the AGM brings, but I'm confident we will continue in the current leadership, yes.